5 out there. And all that. I think we definitely got enough hay to get us way on up into the springtime.
Hey y'all, it's Meagan Andy. Welcome back to the channel. Glad y'all are here today. Come spend a little time with us today. I'm making an early batch of Andy's grandma's famous chicken and dumplings. And I think Andy's doing a little more barn work, and well, that's probably about all it's gonna consist of, except for we have one little surprise to share with you here in just a minute.
Oh yeah, we do have a surprise for y'all. Some of y'all may already know about it, but we got a surprise.
Yep.
I went and got a load of hay this morning. Got all that unloaded and taken care of. Got everything sitting there.
Somebody cut the air on.
Let me tell y'all something. I'm sure we look a little bit different than we did in the last video. It is cold.
It's a little chilly today.
So, before we get into anything, you want to show them your surprise?
Yes. We were waiting on Cookie. Y'all have heard me talk about Cookie. This is her first baby, and I was so scared she was going to wait on these cold nights we've had coming up, you know, in the 20s, because I knew she was close, but I did not. She had it in the middle of the day. We had to run Tractor Supply. Well, Andy fed them before we went to Tractor Supply, said he didn't reckon there was no baby out here.
If it was a baby, I didn't notice it.
And then we come back, and she's got the prettiest little bull calf you ever seen.
And it is wide open.
And he is like jet black,
Look at him there.
And he's a big calf. So, funny backstory on this little guy. So he was born, it was the day before they was calling for all them tornadoes and bad storms and stuff. And thank goodness we didn't get any of that, just some rain. But it was that day before that. Well, that night is when we found him. And she'd already had him clean. He was already drinking. Everything was great. You know, I wasn't worried about him at all. Well, then, the next morning I come down here to milk, and I come to check on him. He was nowhere to be found. I walked, I flipped over hay, I hunted, and I went ahead and milked, and then I told Andy, I said, that calf is gone. I said, something's done come and got my calf, and I don't know where in the world it's went. And so he come down here, and we walked, and we walked. Well, then it come a downpour rain, so we waited till all that was over with, them storms and things, and come back out here, walked and looked, and I just knew. I done told Andy, I said, that's a 50% loss we've had this year. I done give up on it. Well, then, just so happened, Andy was walking along the edge.
Over there.
On the back side of this barn, over there, and just happened something caught his eye. And there it was, curled up tight, and it didn't even move till Andy about stepped on it. Well, he walked over there to it, and it was fine. I guess that's just where it decided to be.
Yeah. So Meagan had done wrote this thing off. Like, this calf is gone. It's no longer in existence.
Worried sick.
We was done with it. I kept telling her, I'm like, she's got it hid somewhere. Don't worry about it. Because Cookie was not panicking at all. Like, you know, she was not the least bit worried. And I told Meagan, I'm like, if something was wrong with that calf, she'd be panicking. But yeah, Meagan had done wrote it off.
Yeah, but here I was like, well, this is her first one. She don't know she's supposed to be upset.
Oh, she would have been, I bet. But come to find out, like, we found him curled up over there in the woods. So we got him back in the fence with his mama, and everything was good. Well, then this morning I come out, and he's out.
And he ain't but 2 days old.
Yeah, he's 2 days old at the moment.
Yeah.
And he was out here. I heard a man. And I was like, what in the world? So I looked, and he got shocked by that divider wire. He was out there. And so I just kind of watched him, and he's just out there running and frolicking and everything. And, you know, it's nothing unusual for a calf to come out of the fence because, you know, we've only got 2 strands. So it's nothing unusual. I've seen it happen a lot with Daddy's calves. I wasn't worried about him. So I'm on my way down to move the tractors out from under the barn. I get all the way down there to the barn, and he's already made it that far, and he's down there outside of the fence, running around down at the barn. And I'm like, what are you doing down here? You ain't supposed to be here.
Like, he wasn't running around scared either. He was just like having a great time.
He was the kind of, looked like he was into something. Like, he's like, oh, I've got caught. So anyways, I think his nickname's going to be Little
Yeah,
Troublemaker.
trouble.
Because this is the first calf that we've had up here that does stuff like this. All the rest of them have been well behaved, stay with their mamas. But him, he's wanting to be into something.
And Cookie, I was worried about her because you never know with these first time mamas, you know, how they're going to do. And she is an excellent mama, which I didn't expect any different because she loves all the babies. Like, you know, Candy is her mama, and Candy loves all babies. And she's the same way. Anytime somebody has a baby, even when she was younger, like, she loved them so much. And she's a great mama, and I'm not going to try to milk her, you know, maybe eventually in the future, but this time I'm just going to let her figure out how to be a mama and what she needs to do, because she don't have like a ton of milk. Not that it looks like. Now sometimes they can have a lot of milk and not have a huge bag, but I'm going to let her just do her thing this year. Candy has given me more than enough milk. I'm just tickled. That's the last calf of 2026, and he is a Spitfire and a troublemaker, and oh, I just love him. He's so pretty.
Oh, he's an absolutely beautiful calf. But
and he's the first calf that we've had. So Cookie is the first cow that was born here, and we raised, and now she's got old enough to have her own calf. So, because all the rest of these cows we bought, and well, Black Star, she was raised here. Right after she was born, she was a bottle calf, but the rest of these big cows were bought. So I don't know, it's kind of like a milestone.
Yep.
Took a long time to get to that milestone, but
Cookie's
because she's a little over 2 years old.
And Cookie's got to be the sweetest cow. Like,
She's got her mama's personality.
Even I have somewhat of a bond with Cookie, which that's saying a lot, because I don't typically bond with animals, except for my dog. That's a different story. But like the farm animals, I don't typically bond at all with them. You know, they're just here doing their job. But Cookie,
yeah, she's
like,
sweet.
I have a little bit of a bond with Cookie.
She's a sweet cow, and she's a half. She's a Jangus. She's half Jersey and half Angus. So that calf right there's, I guess, 3/4.
Yeah, I think
beef cow and just
yeah,
tad bit of milk cow in him.
Yeah, just a tad bit of milk cow.
Yeah.
But everybody's looking good. I'd like to mention something about our current situation. We just recently had 3/4 of an inch of rain. We have all the water that comes off of this roof and dumps right into this little, what we call a sacrifice pasture. And I don't know if y'all can tell or not, but it's not muddy. I mean, it is muddy, but it's not muddy. Look at the cows, how clean they are. Okay, Belle might be an exception. She must have laid in some somewhere. But then look at the rest of them down there. Everybody's clean. And so what we've started doing was, since we figured out that we've got an abundance of hay left, we quit using the hay rings in here. And so they are wasting it, but it's not really wasting it. It's spreading it out.
It's making some really good compost, putting that, what do they call it, carbon?
Yeah, putting that carbon in there.
Yeah, putting the carbon in there.
As Joel Salatin says, we're using this hay as our carbonaceous diaper at the moment. And it's making great bedding for them. Like I said, we just had rain. And I mean, they are all laying in that hay pile right there. We got another hay pile over there. My next bale will go in this area and right below these, once these two are gone. And so I'm kind of just alternating where bales go. And then by the time I'm back to setting a bale here, this is ready for new hay. I hope that makes sense.
And I'm hoping hopefully they'll only have to be in here maybe another month, maybe.
Yeah, at the most.
At the most, yeah. That's what we're thinking. The grass is looking phenomenal. But this cold weather may kick it back a little bit.
And then once we turn these cows onto the grass, we'll be bringing Daddy's bull back up here. But it's not coming until these cows are on grass. And hopefully start this cycle all over again.
Yep.
Look down there, y'all.
He's got just a tiny speck of white on his belly.
He's beautiful.
Yep.
But that's my thing. Like, I do want to point out, it is muddy, but look at how clean these cows are. I know we have mentioned it in the past, And there's 25 million ways you can handle your cows over the wintertime. But with the amount of cows we have, we found that doing something such, because we did have them in this pasture here, but now that the grass has started growing, we've pulled them off of that so it can come out and recuperate. Because we had a question the other day wanting to know, why do we put our cows up over the winter? Or why are we pulling our cows off the grass? The grass is growing. Why don't you have your cows out there? And it's a logical question. The reason is because we like to get our grass a good head start before the cows go out onto it.
Because if we do that, it seems to last better. But, you know, this little bit of time of them having to be put up in here is worth it in the long run. To them, too. I mean, it's for their benefit. And we had somebody ask the other day, why in the world we call it a sacrifice pasture, and what does that mean? It means we sacrifice this piece of land. This little chunk of land right here is getting sacrificed. We don't try to grow grass or anything right here. This is their wintertime place, and this is where they stay, and they mud it up, and they, you know, that's just what it is. That's what you sacrifice, that chunk of land.
And in turn, we get a big old pile of compost out of this that y'all seen us at the end of the other video the other day. We spread it out onto the pasture, and that in turn goes back to helping build these pastures up. But doing it this way is definitely not a way you'd want to do it if you were trying to conserve hay, because you do lose a lot.
Well, and that's why we waited till we made sure we had enough to get us through before we started letting them really stomp this down like this.
Yeah, so. Because before this we had them out there, so that was keeping them out of the mud. You know, there was a big enough pasture there that they stayed out of the mud, but we were just feeding them in here. Mm-hmm. So now they're actually staying in here, and it's just working. It's working well.
Whatever works. Yep, I can't decide if I want to call that new baby, if I want to call him Trouble or Storm, since he was born.
Storm's a good one.
Right before all them storms.
That's a good one.
So I ain't decided which one I'm going to call him yet.
I like that name. We can call him Troublesome.
See, Maggie calls Candy's baby Shadow, and then they call Belle's baby Johnny Pie. I don't even know where that came from. That's what they call him.
Johnny Pie.
And so I don't know what we're going to call that one. I got to take it up with the children. So on the way to the barn, we stopped to assess the damage of the trees, which we've still got a night or two left of cold. And Andy's doing a water jug experiment.
I don't know if that's going to work or not.
But we thought we would try. But I was looking at this one, and I just wonder, I'm just guessing here, like that one. It got that one, I'd say. See it?
Yeah.
And I'd say it got that one.
Yeah, the one that just fell off in your hand?
Yeah, but these, I'm not so...
Those are curious because the petals had already fell off of those.
That one,
yeah,
I'd say.
That looks dead. But then we still have some that are...
Well, the petals fall off anyway, so it's hard to, you know...
That's a good-looking bloom still. However, like Megan said, we still got...
2 nights left to survive.
At least 2 nights, yeah. So we got down to 25 last night.
And you know, that wind was pretty rough too, so I mean, it probably blowed a lot of them petals off because they was already letting go anyway.
Well, we'll see. The pear tree back there behind you, I think, is good right now. Yeah, so this water experiment, y'all, actually some of y'all recommended doing it, and there's a fellow on YouTube who recommended it. This tree didn't get it because I'm not even worried about this peach tree. But so somehow or another, they claim that hanging gallon jugs of water in your trees protects them from the freeze. I don't understand how it's going to work, but I thought, why not give it a try?
Didn't none of these freeze. They all look good.
Yeah, the pears look really good, don't they?
Yeah.
So far.
Only time will tell.
Yep, only time will tell. All right, I'm going down to the barn. I'm going to go down here and see what I can knock out.
10-4.
I guess you know where I'll be.
All right. I'll holler at you before we leave.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
Well, as y'all can see, I got started without you. It don't look too bad so far, does it? So, what you see right here was done. Man, I'm going to tell you what. On the back side of this building, The sun's right there perfectly shining on all this. It feels 10 times better right here than it did up there just now. But anyways, what you see right here has only took just a few hours worth of work so far. And part of that was just kind of figuring out what I needed to do and get my rhythm down. I started on the back side on purpose because I wanted to kind of figure out what I was doing. And if I messed up, well, it would be on the back side and not the front side. So, this is what I've got done so far. Just look at that. Up there is going to be open. I am probably going to put some 2x4s across it just to kind of give it a finished look. However, I am leaving that gap up there open for ventilation. And then the siding is not going to go all the way to the ground. And I didn't want that because, you know, water coming off the roof could possibly splash back up on it, make it rot. You know, the closer the untreated wood is to the ground, the more likely it is to rot. Then once I go back, these little cracks are going to be covered by the battens. So once the big boards are up, then the little boards have got to go up. So still plenty of work to do for sure. However, I feel like I can see a light at the end of the tunnel now at this point. And the process I found that works good for me is doing 3 boards at a time. I cut 3 and then go nail up those 3. And the reason for the number 3 is because 3 is all that fits comfortably on these sawbucks. I'll give y'all a quick tip. See how we have somewhat of a cut that way? That one's got a slight cut that way. And it looks like that one's cut is the other way. That, you want that cup facing outward on your siding. So like this will be the inside of the board here. This will be the outside. And that way, once it's nailed up, it doesn't try to continue to cup and pull the nails out, because they will do that. This old nail apron I have here, my grandma gave me this. oh, I was probably Jacob's age when she gave it to me, and it used to be my grandpa's. My grandpa on my daddy's side, not the one that lived here, this was my mama's side. But my grandpa on my daddy's side used to help do a lot of carpentry work and stuff. And this is the nail bag well, this is one of the last nail bags he had. And so I use it now. I don't use one much. I don't do a whole lot of jobs where I nail stuff, but yeah, still coming in handy after all these years. What I was telling y'all about the cup, also if you're like putting up steps or decking steps, you would want to put that cup facing down, because if you put the cup facing up, well, it'll act like a pool and it'll hold water. So you want to turn that cup down. These clamps right here are a lifesaver. These have got to be the handiest thing ever invented on something like this. And I am leveling every single board, because rough cut lumber may not be, like if I were to just butt them up tight with each other, something would get out of whack on the way down the wall, because rough cut lumber is never, especially on a circle mill, is never true from one end to the other. You might be like a 1/16 off or an 1/8 off, and when you put up that many boards, it's like we've got across here, that will definitely affect the wall. So what I've been doing is I'll put in 2 nails, take my clamp off, go grab the other board and put it up, and then I finish nailing everything. There's just something about the sound of a hammer echoing through the holler that always, I don't know, it's just one of those sounds that for some reason or another takes me back to my childhood, and I don't even know why, but it does. Like at this point, what you just seen, those 3 boards, everything's gonna be kind of like rinse, wash, repeat, rinse, wash, repeat. The whole situation, I mean, the whole time I'm down here, it's gonna be the same thing over and over and over. So, just so y'all don't get bored watching boards go up, I'll jump back in when I'm about done for today and show you what all's got done.
All right, time to throw together an early supper. So that way, we're gonna have to warm it up when it's actually time to eat, but if I hadn't put anything in the crock pot and I've got a busy evening, this is another way that I like to make it work. Especially if I'm here during the day, why not, instead of stressing myself out this evening after I get all this running done, throwing together supper, go ahead and cook it while I've got a few extra minutes. And that seems to work out pretty good for me anyway. So the other evening, y'all heard me say on the last video, my oven had quit. So it's got a, I don't know what the thing is called. It lights up and it gets hot and it triggers the gas to release to come on, so the oven will come on. It's the second time I burned it out, and the fella told me, he said, you must cook a lot. I said, yeah. And that's been about 2.5 years ago that I had to have that replaced for the first time. So now I've had it replaced twice, but oven's back up and running. But I made a chicken in the crock pot, and I like making these whole chickens in the crock pot because I get a great broth when I do that. And I usually have some leftover chicken because we like to grow these chickens pretty big. So for that reason, I make 2 meals out of 1 chicken. So we're going to be making some chicken and dumplings, and this is pretty much Andy's grandma's recipe and her family's recipe. I may do a little tweaking to it, but the gist of it is from that old-fashioned recipe. Now, I make drop dumplings, not the rollout dumplings, and I think that's kind of a regional thing. There's some places in the country everybody eats drop dumplings. There's some places in the country everybody eats rolled out dumplings. There's no wrong answer, it's just whatever you like. And we just happen to like the drop dumplings. So the first thing I'm going to do, I want this broth from here to here. Now, if I didn't have already cooked chicken with the broth already made, I would usually boil either some chicken thighs or chicken quarters, or simmer, not boil. Simmer those, make me some nice broth while cooking the chicken at the same time, and I would season that up real good. So, I've done it both ways, but a lot of times for these chicken soups, I like to use leftover chicken. I'm going to let that broth go ahead and be heating up, and I'm going to start picking this chicken off the bone. Now, a lot of people through the years, especially when we used to sell these whole chickens, a lot of people don't know what to do with the whole chickens anymore. And my best advice to you, if you're not familiar with cooking whole chickens, is use it like this right here. Throw it in the crock pot, season it up real good, put you some water in there, just let it cook, and then if you've got any leftovers, use it like this.
I took 2 hands. There we go.
There you go.
Look, that's gonna get me. It's a little bit offline, but good thing it's gonna be covered up.
So when you get to be an old person, you can look at that in 10 years. You can look at that and say, when I was 10 years old, I left them hammer marks in that.
And you tell what kind of hammer it is too, because it has a little indentation in it.
Has the notch for the nail.
I think it's because that when I hit it like that, not like flat like that.
You want me to tell you something?
What?
When I was your age, I smashed a lot of fingers. I bent a lot of nails, and I couldn't drive a nail for nothing. It's inevitable. Using a hammer, you know you're going to smash your finger. We could join the modern age and get a nail gun, couldn't we?
But that's not fun.
That's right. That ain't no fun.
You just gotta like trunk. This you gotta like.
That's right. Ain't nothing wrong with a hammer. Hammer and a nail.
All that chicken's off the bone. I have got about a quart of broth here. So I'm going to add an equal amount of milk. So another quart of milk to this mixture. There we go. I might as well finish off the jar. Ain't no use leaving that swallow in there. And now, from the chicken seasoning, and I seasoned that broth and everything the other day when I cooked that chicken, this right here probably don't need much of anything, if anything at all. I'm going to let it simmer when it comes in and cook for a little bit. I'll taste it to see if it needs something. If you've not heard me say it before, if in your cooking you feel like your food is missing something, most of the time it's salt. If you add you a little more salt, a lot of times that gives it whatever the flavor is you're looking for. A lot of times that salt will enhance it to what you need. I have found these, y'all probably know these exist, but they're like individual non-bleached parchment paper. But I don't have to cut it. I don't have to deal with a roll. They're like in sheets. And this has worked so nice for my butter. So we're going to do probably roughly a tablespoon, a little over a tablespoon of butter. And our mixture there to give it some fat. Let that melt. I'm gonna go ahead, pour in my chicken. Alright, so I'm going to make up just a little bit of thickener to go in here, just with some flour and water. It's just the way we like it. A lot of people don't put no flour or no thickener in their dumplings, but we like it to stick to the chicken a little bit. So I'm going to do, that's probably about a half cup. I used to do milk, and I have found that water dissolves that flour better and thickens up your soup better. Have no idea the rhyme or reason, or if that's even really a thing. It just seems to be my experience with it. Alright. And it goes. Alright, next thing we need to do is make our dumplings. So I'm going to start off, let's see how big this pot is. Let's do about 1.5 cups of self-rising flour. Now this has got to have a little bit of leavening in it. So if you're using like plain old flour, make sure you get your baking soda and all that in there, or your dumplings are not going to be great. I just take the easy route and I use self-rising flour. I'm going to take some lard. We're going to pretend we're making biscuits. So let's do a good spoonful there of lard. Mix that in just like biscuits. By saying that, I mean kind of pinch it in, work it in till you don't see any big pieces of the grease in there. Makes your flour kind of coarse. Now this morning I made some butter, so I've got some fresh buttermilk here that I set aside just because I knew I was going to be making some chicken and dumplings tonight. So I wanted to use that in my dumplings. you can see there, my dumpling mixture is like a wet biscuit mix. Before I go to putting them in my pot now, you want to make sure that it's boiling. Like you want to see it going, or else your dumplings are just going to kind of sink and be kind of sad and dense. And we want light and fluffy, delicious dumplings. When you're making chicken and dumplings, now make sure you've got it in a deep pot. You don't want your soup mixture to be close to the top, because once we put these dumplings in there, it's gonna come on up, and you'll run your pot over and you'll make a terrible mess. I've done it more times than I care to admit to. So if you want to make my chicken stew, if you missed that video here a while back, this is the point you would stop. You just wouldn't put no dumplings in it. And I actually make my chicken stew thicker than this, so my flour mixture would have made this a little thicker than what my chicken and dumpling soup is. But this is pretty much my chicken stew here. It's time to start dropping our little dumplings in, about a spoonful. Now I'm going to try not to double dip anybody. I try to go around the outside the pot there, like that. Try to just make me a circle. Chicken and dumplings is probably one of my favorite things to cook and eat. So then once it starts getting full, I start trying to eye where my dumplings are, so I can squeeze some more in there. Alright, so now I'm going to cover this and I'm going to let this go for about 10 minutes. So I just want to show you real quick. This is why you put it in a deep pot. Even this pot was about not deep enough.
Alright.
Perfect.
Put the clamp on it. You have to go on the bottom right there.
Wait.
Put your level on it. Hold it up there flat. There you go. You'll get it one of these days. There you go. Put your bucket down. I'll let you be cleaning all that up. I'm gonna go over and nail the rest of them boards.
Alright.
Hey, dump them in the same spot you've been dumping. But just remember, on this tractor now, you don't have a clutch, so just pull it back into neutral. Okay? So if you pant, I know there ain't nothing there. Just remember, pull it into neutral. Me and Jacob have been busy. I got about, I don't know, 10 more foot before I'm completely across the backside.
Oh, wow.
I really think after we eat and everything, I'm going back down there.
I can't believe you've got that much done. You should be proud of yourself. That's good.
It goes faster than you think once you actually sit in and do it.
Put your mind to it. All my dumplings sunk, I guess, because it's sit here. But I don't think it's cold. No, it's still steam coming off of it.
It's good.
Yeah, me and Maggie just got back. Got behind every slow person you think of between here and there, so it took me a little longer.
It happens.
What do you do?
Anytime you're ever trying to get somewhere, you're going to get behind somebody slow.
There we go. That looks mighty fine.
They do look good. They smell good. I'm about to starve.
Are you?
I am.
You worked for it today, ain't you?
I guess. There's me some dumplings.
Yeah, they're in there. They just sunk while it was sitting there. Those look pretty good, don't they?
They do. You know, chicken and dumplings is one of my favorite foods out of my whole life. Like, ever since I was a kid, chicken and dumplings has been something that...
It's always been a favorite of mine, too.
Yeah.
It's just something,
it's one of those comfort foods.
Warms your insides.
That it does, too.
Warms your heart.
Warms everything about you, I guess.
But anyways, guys, I guess that's going to about wrap up today's video. We're going to sit down and eat us a bite. Hope y'all enjoyed the video today. Thank you for spending some time with us. And we sure appreciate you watching. Until we see y'all on the next one.
Y'all have a good one.
Have a good one.